Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Humanity Matters one-on-one discussion. I am your host, Dr. Philip Fletcher, where we discuss faith and philosophy, nonprofit leadership, and social issues. We want to engage with ideas on what it means to flourish as a free human being in our society. And so, as always, you can connect with me in a variety of ways, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe. And also my website, philipfletcher.org, philipfletcher.org. Remember, that's 2 L's spelled the right way. Hey, coming up this coming Friday, we resume our Rap, Hip Hop, and Freedom as we look at different rappers across the decades since the origin of rap back in the late 70s. And we look at some of those tracks and how they engage with ideas regarding classical liberalism as well as libertarianism. Found some great things coming from Basquiat and from Mises in regards to J. Cole and Public Enemy and Ice Cube. So if you missed any of those, you can find those as well over at the YouTube channel, as well as over at my podcast, Humanity Matters Podcast. So wherever you get your content, Anchor.fm or Spotify or Google Play or wherever you like to get your podcast to work out to take walks to, or maybe just do some work around the house, please subscribe and leave a review of the Humanity Matters podcast. Appreciate y'all very much. Today, we have got a very, what I like to call a very powerful woman, a queen over on social media, especially on Twitter is where I discovered her. Miss Denise Lee. Denise, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Philip. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Yes, I'm glad that you are here. So, Denise, tell us about yourself, what you do, family, your business interests, so on and so forth.
Oh boy, I know I can't spend all day, so we're going to have the Reader's Digest version here, okay?
Okay.
So, as Philip mentioned, you can find, my name is Denise Lee, but I'm also known, for those of you who know me on Twitter, as Queen Free Market, where I just talk all things free market, entrepreneurship, business, but really it's all the mindset of entrepreneurship, independence, liberty, freedom. So I talk guns and free market and economics and kind of hodgepodge, but it's really an extension of who I really am. I am a business coach for creators and consultants, and my mission is to help people just to feel unapologetic of the right to sell and to promote and liberty and freedom. And all of that's just kind of wrapped up in my persona. So I call myself Queen Free Market. Not that I'm a queen, but I definitely am an advocate of people just going for their goals and not feeling like constrained by the government or really by anyone in general.
Hey, that's great. So I love entrepreneurship. I love to see people start things. I love to see people take an idea and take something and take nothing and create something out of it, a goods or a service. So give us a definition of entrepreneurship.
When I think about entrepreneurship, Philip, I think about the ability to monetize an idea and a thought that is in demand in the market. For example, I just want to give the example of just a common commodity, like for example, my earrings, right? Do I need earrings? No, I don't freaking need earrings. But I desire to express myself in a unique and creative way. The designer of these earrings was able to create a product that allowed me to depart with my money in exchange for this.
Yeah. Why is entrepreneurship important in our society? I mean, we're going to get into some government type stuff later on in the interview. But why is a person, identifying a need to provide a service? Why is that important to our society, or even just to an individual?
Well, let's think about it on a really fundamental core level, right? Entrepreneurship, small business owners actually provide at least 60% of our workforce, right? They are the lifeblood. They provide jobs, they provide resources, they provide training. They are the first ones, boots on the ground, who are supporting in terms of crisis. I think about when Hurricane Rita, Hurricane Katrina back in 2005, who was really providing the most immediate resources? It was small businesses, because they were on the ground. They knew exactly what the community needed, and they paid it forward. So when you just think about it from a community investment perspective, right? Providing jobs, providing resources, providing support. That is why we as a community, we help one another, because we understand one another's needs.
That's good. That's real good. So that's huge to be able to an entrepreneur to understand the needs of his or her particular community, neighborhood, city, so on and so forth. And that's different than a top-down approach than what government thinks that they know what's best for everybody. Whereas an entrepreneur sees something specific and can adapt to his area, from the top down. They just think a one-size-fits-all goes, and it's just not the case. So you're a coach.
At least I try to be. Whether or not you accept my advice or not is a completely different issue, right?
So in your coaching experience, what have you discovered? What are those fundamental things an individual needs to function as an entrepreneur?
You have to be able, first and foremost, to survive as an entrepreneur is the ability to take those licks and keep at it. Because as an entrepreneur, like, everybody talks about risk, right? But the reality is, with great risk comes great reward, because we as entrepreneurs, we are stepping in and creating something new that no one else has thought about, or no one has thought about doing it in a different way, right? So that comes that creativity, but it calls it risk, because we're not just risking, obviously, our capital, our money, we're risking our reputation on the line. We're risking our self-esteem on the line. So to be able to take those licks, meaning to be able to just withstand the ups and downs and the emotional turmoil by putting something out in the market and having no certainty whether or not people will get it or not.
Yeah. I hope everybody can feel it. Denise's energy right now. I see you got a lot of passion regarding entrepreneurship and coaching. What led you into being an entrepreneur?
I was told forever I should be an entrepreneur. I remember even when I was 7 years old, hustling with my friends to just sell some potted plants for $10 when I bought it at $1. I always was talking about profit and margin, even from the jump. But I was so conditioned from schooling and everything like that to say oh no, we get the job, and then when you retire, you take your skill set, and life didn't do me the way I wanted to. I've always been a hustler. I've always been someone who just was looking at things from a different angle. It should have been a tip off that all my boyfriends growing up were drug dealers. Because I wanted to be in the hustle, Philip. I wanted to be in the game, but I was so afraid of doing it myself.
That's a whole interview all on its own.
Here's the thing. Everybody knows me. They really think that it's some kind of act as Queen Free Market on Twitter. I'm just, just being audacious. This is really me. This is not filtered at all.
Oh, you're savage on Twitter. I have to admit, you engage in a way that is that's powerful, that's very forthright, and very little filter. It's something. And
ain't nobody got time for filter, Philip.
No. But you do it in such a way. I feel like we get on the rabbit trail, and that's okay. you do it in such a way where you're not disrespecting anybody. You own yourself. You're communicating who you are and what you believe, and you stand by it. And sometimes you use humor. You throw facts, obviously, out there. But I be looking for your stuff, and sometimes I just be laughing, and like she's just telling it like it is. But the hustle, yeah, I completely agree with you that to start something, you have to really be on that hustle, and you have to be creative, and take those licks, what you called it, and keep moving forward. So that's
I mean, you have to love it. You have to freaking love it. I think about the lion in the jungle. He's not the smartest, he's not the fastest, but he's in it because he freaking loves the game. Yeah. He loves the process of going for it.
Yeah,
like that's the lifeblood of entrepreneur, the grind of it.
Yeah, you're right. So describe to us your coaching strategy. So person wants to gain those critical skills to succeed as an entrepreneur, just not to give away your whole product or anything like that, but how do you, because you're on that hustle, but you're talking to somebody and you want them to ultimately be a client today. What's your approach with people?
So, you remember you just said earlier, Phil, like, I'm loving the fact that you're not insulting, right? You're just speaking your truth. You're just matter of fact about it, right? So my process, my 3-step process is, first of all, understand who you are, right? What you're good at, right? And owning that space completely and not apologizing for that. I'm not apologizing for that at all. And then obviously communicating back with the audience and understanding their needs, because we can't sell in a vacuum, right? Philip, we can't just be like, here's something for sale. I don't know if you want it, right? But here it is, right? Yeah. So we communicate, and then we sell with psychology, persuasion, and consistency. So that's my 3-part formula. And I've got courses, I've got one-on-one program. That's all my flavor. But if I had to just summarize it, that's how all of what I do in essence.
Okay. One of the things I saw you say on Twitter was, on a quoting, and I'm summarizing, one of the goals, it was a video actually you did, is not to sell, but to influence. Can you talk about that a little bit? The role of the entrepreneur is not primarily to sell, but to influence?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I talk about this all the time. Like, I'm not trying to get you to buy my stuff necessarily. I'm trying to get you to believe that what I have to say matters, and what I have to say is going to impact your life. So if you understand what I can say is impacting your life is important, right? Maybe, perhaps, what I have to offer is just as powerful, if not more, than what the initial kind of things that I have to say. So influence is all about giving people to shift their mind from what they see to what is potentially better for them and their life and their family and their business or whatever they're trying to attain.
That's good. Hey, this is Dr. Philip Fletcher with our Humanity Matters one-on-one discussion with Denise Lee, and we are going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back as soon as I find the commercial. Sometimes you have the technical difficulties. Hey, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Wayne Cox. I'm a member of the steering committee for Hope Village. This is our founder, Dr. Philip Fletcher. We just like to thank the people of our community who've partnered with Hope Village, because certainly we wouldn't be as far as long as we are without your help. But recently we received a generous donation of $10,000. We'd like to try to match that amount. So we'd like your help.
So this is your opportunity, no matter who you are or how much you have to give, to contribute to Hope Village. Please make a donation. Share this video in our GoFundMe page with your family, friends, co-workers. Let's make Hope Village a reality here in Conway and Faulkner County as we continue to kill the stigma regarding homelessness. As always, remember to be loved, to be kind, and to be generous. Thank you for your support. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humanity Matters show, our one-on-one discussion with Denise Lee and Denise. So I want to connect your work as an entrepreneur and as a coach to the idea of the free market. Now, you are a fierce advocate of the free market. So I want you just to give your why, how you arrived at that, and just inform our audience regarding the free market and why it's important to you.
Well, without going through my entire resume, I spent about roughly almost 10 years working for the federal government, first as a contractor and then as an employee. And during that time, I saw live boots on the ground waste, mismanagement, abuse, misappropriation of resources. And I felt really helpless as a federal employee because I realized that it wasn't so much about us delivering services for the public, it was us trying to validate our existence. And so when you're actually in that environment, where you're actually seeing the reality of how over-glutted bureaucracy works, you don't feel like you're even part of the solution. You're actually contributing to the problem. So when I think about the free market, what in essence I'm saying is a completely deregulated kind of Adam Smith invisible hand where everybody doesn't really know exactly how everything fits, but somehow we all can provide each other the resources and skills to help function as a community. Now, obviously, I can go on talking about it, but
no, keep going. Well, I think one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today is so unless you're blind, like me and Denise are Black male, Black female, and the free market is not something you commonly hear the term used, if you will, in the quote unquote Black community, whatever that means, quote unquote, right? Now, you mentioned in your previous life and persons that you dated, you can make the argument they were heavily engaged in the free market to make things happen, to get their income for whatever reason they were doing it. And I think there are more men and women like us who actually believe in that. They just don't have a term to put to it. And to hear, when I saw you on Twitter, going back to Twitter again, and I saw your handle about being the Queen Free Market, I said, I have to hit that follow right here, because I almost want to say it's like a unicorn. I mean, for me, it really is. It's like finding a unicorn or a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So, and you talk about deregulation. How does having a deregulated market actually help the entrepreneur?
I'll give you an example that is actually occurring now in New York City. So
Okay.
In order for you to become a hairstylist, specifically a hair braider, right, you have to be certified by the state, right? The city of New York, and that means you have to go through only a certain amount of places that are accredited, and then on top of that, you have to pay certain licensing fees and all that stuff. And imagine, you've been hair braiding like in Minneapolis or Detroit for 20 plus years, right? And if you're not even familiar with the system, right, and somebody catches you, braiding hair in the Bronx or Queens or whatever, you can't even continue to support your family and your friends because there's so much bureaucracy, there's so much overhead. All you're trying to do is provide a service for your community and feed your family.
Yeah.
And so when we take all that level of bureaucracy and let people help the community directly, right, and let people experience the consequences. Like, let's say that person braid your hair too tightly and you mess up. Well, word's going to spread that you're a bad hairdresser. So you either fix it or you go out of business. One of the two is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's odd. You're talking about hair braiding. That's just something that happens in households, right? It's just something that happens in households. I mean, I've got daughters and I know the discussions, hey, who braided your hair? And, you go over to their house or they come over to your house and, it's an all day affair to me, it seems like. And, part of that then too is like community building that's happening. Relationships are forming. It's kind of like being in the barbershop. That's why I equate it to So then for the government to come in and be like, we know what's best on how to braid hair, we're like, we've been doing this for generations. Like,
Like, you don't know nothing about this. And you know, also, this is what I have to say, is because it's on my mind. Usually is the people who are the most disconnected from our culture try and regulate us and regulate how we do our work, right? You'll have some middle-aged white woman, Karen, so I put some manual about how braiding should be done, how cleaning, and she has never stepped her a foot in a hair braiding salon.
Right. It makes no sense. And trying to, and this goes into the next question. Just who are your influences are regarding the free market. And, you know, when you mentioned the New York situation in hair braiding, you know, I think about Walter Williams.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, one of the first books someone gave me was his book on race and discrimination, and talking about the minimum wage and regulations that were actually pricing out Black men and women from the market. So who's some of your influences? I know you mentioned Adam Smith. Who else has influenced you?
Well, you actually mentioned too Walter Williams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know what? My gateway to the free market was actually Freedom to Choose series by Milton Friedman. I remember, I'll never freaking forget it. I remember I was debating with my husband about something about the market. He was like, all I want you to do is go on YouTube and just watch that. And then I learned about Thomas Sowell, right? And then I was like, oh snap. Like, then I heard about the Mises, and then I was reading about Murray Rothbard, and then I was like, wow, like there's so much depth here. Yeah.
Free to Choose. Yes. Somebody had given me that podcast link, right? And I said, okay. I was familiar with Williams and Sowell. Yeah. And that's where I learned about, okay, so here's this Milton Friedman guy. And I'm a gym enthusiast. So during my workouts, that's what I'd be listening to. Most people listen to music. I'm listening to political discussion, economic discussions. And,
market feelings.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yes, this is good. Like, get me hyped. And yeah, those I hope that more people would find exposure to those writers and what they have to offer. You know, because pretty much we have like, well, a Keynesian approach in America, you know, even like with COVID-19, you know, all the money that the federal government has put out there, it's crazy. And it's a short-term influx of money, not thinking about the long-term consequences of it. And that's one of the things I learned about Keynesianism. It takes that kind of approach. So COVID-19, right? Where are you seeing opportunities for entrepreneurs?
You know, I was just reading the other day, Philip, that Amazon, Netflix, some of these streaming services like Disney, they're actually losing subscribers. People are starting to come more out. People are escaping hibernation. And this is the time and the era for our brick and mortar to shine, but in a new and a different way.
Okay.
I'm specifically, and I'm just going to sit here and park my little happy hips on the hairstylist, beauty, all that stuff for a second, because I think it's just really important to talk about it.
Yeah,
one of the things that, because I don't know why, one of the things that people have been really dying to do is to enhance their well-being, their personal beauty, like all that stuff, right? So I'm seeing a surge of estheticians, beauticians, those who support chemical services that provide shampoos and stuff like that. I see a lot of people moving in the era of personal hygiene, personal care, and more concerned about as using it as an extension of their well-being. Mm-hmm. I see that really burgeoning now. I mean, there's obviously other sectors, but I just see definitely if people can hop on that fitness, wellness, beauty care, all that stuff, like that's a gold mine that if people can take advantage of it, they're going to be like way ahead.
That's good. Hey, y'all heard it here first. Entrepreneurial type opportunities from Miss Denise Lee. So as we're coming into the close of this, so what projects are you currently working on? How can people connect with you?
Well, so for anyone who wants to learn more about me, obviously hit me at deniseglee.com. It's kind of my hub spot for obviously podcasts, articles, other resources. But as far as upcoming projects right now, I don't really have anything quite special per se. But if you obviously want to talk with me directly, make sure you reach me at hello@deniseglee.com. And depending on where you are in your business, I definitely want to talk with you a little bit more in depth, because I don't do one size fits all. You know, I work with coaches, I work with creatives, I work with consultants, and everybody has a different skill set and a different aim. So let me help you kind of figure out what best product or service can help you in your current journey.
That's good. And we'll have all of Denise's contact information in the show notes and on our podcast, so you can reach out to her and connect with this powerful woman. So, hey, what is one thing you want people to know about the free market, which you have not touched on yet?
You are, wow, you're ahead of me a question I didn't really know how to answer before. But when I think about the free market, I think about is the ability to see things that don't quite exist, and the ability to think in a way that defies logic or expectations, right? Because we are innovators. We are bridge builders to new possibilities of improving our community.
Yes. Those are good. That's good. Hey, Denise, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much for your time here.
All right, everybody, that was our Humanity Matters show, one-on-one discussion with Denise Lee. Again, we'll have all of her contact information in the show notes. As always, you can connect with me on the various social media outlets. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I would appreciate it very much. As well, check out our nonprofits, the City of Hope Outreach, Hope Village, and Replicate for nonprofit startup. Hope Village, that is for our housing development that we're going to be having going up this coming summer. Great news. And as always, you can connect with the nonprofit coho58.org. And don't forget about Rap, Hip Hop, and Freedom. The midweek show will be coming out this next coming Friday. So as always, remember to be loved, to be kind, and to be generous. And if you remember to live in hope, we can do the impossible. Take care. God bless. When I say your name, it says you exist and that you matter. I can't transform what I don't think exists. I won't transform the person I don't think that matters.